The first thing you did after being reborn was to directly chisel a piece of steel off an aircraft carrier with a hammer. Then, risking cutting your throat, you swallowed that steel plate raw without hesitation, all because in half an hour, the blood rain would fall. Over 70% of all life on Earth would mutate into terrifying monsters, and in your past life, even though you awake in the ultimate devourer talent, anything with a talent attribute could be devoured. But before you even got a chance to use it, you were killed by a group of meteoriding fish. Now, reborn, you realize the devouring talent is still with you, so you immediately decide to find something with powerful attributes to devour. This time, you will be ahead of everyone else. After glancing at your surroundings, the thing with the most talent attributes you could access right now was none other than the aircraft carrier Unity in front of you. Dragon Nation's 4th generation nuclear-powered aircraft carrier. Not only does it displace over 150,000 tons, but it's also equipped with a controlled nuclear fusion power system and all kinds of advanced artillery and missile systems. An absolute national treasure. The various talent attributes on it. You couldn't even imagine how many there were, without caring about the people around you. I picked up a fire axe from the floor and immediately swung it at the carrier's inner wall. I swung it twice. When I raised the axe for the 3rd time, the others finally realized what you were doing. Stop. In less than 2 seconds, you were pinned to the ground. They didn't see you as much of a threat. After all, using a fire axe to damage an aircraft carrier, only someone out of their mind would do that. They just thought you'd been at sea too long and were having an emotional breakdown. That fire axe was already chit and dull. On the bulkhead, there were only a few laughably shallow scratches, but your eyes lit up because you saw a piece of debris on the ground, about the size of a soybean, from the carrier. Ignoring the fact that you were pinned down and couldn't move, and not caring about the dirt, you stretched your neck out and licked that piece of debris off the floor with your tongue, rolling it into your mouth. In one swift motion, you absorbed it. No. Stop him. Make him spit it out. Get the medics. That thing will damage his internal organs. He'll lose his combat capability. Now the naval officers were in complete disarray. The jagged piece of steel scraped down your throat, burning with pain, just like they said it would. But you weren't worried at all, because the next second, the devouring talent kicked in. Aircraft carrier absorbed successfully. Talent attributes obtained. Steel body leave 9. Nuclear power LV8. Wave breaker leave 8. War beast leave 9. Flagship leave 9. National treasure LV10. Divine strength LV9. In an instant, a dense array of talent attributes exploded in your consciousness. Steel body LV9 took effect. The pain inside you vanished instantly. Forget a piece of steel. Even if you swallowed a missile right now, your stomach would just treat it like a midnight snack. I'm so strong now. You felt your body brimming with explosive power. Any one of these top-tier attributes could create a powerhouse on its own. So you gave a slight shake. With a clang, the elite naval soldiers pinning you down were like scarecrows in front of divine strength LV9, instantly flung away. There were only a few minutes left before the global disaster. You had to get on deck immediately. You remembered clearly. In your past life, right when the mutation began, the Unity was attacked by a mutated humpback whale and was critically damaged on the spot. This time, that mutated beast, I'll drive it away. You clenched your fists. You glanced at your fallen comrades on the ground. No time to explain. To achieve extraordinary things, you must take extraordinary actions. You dashed out like an arrow, sprinting toward the carrier's deck. People tried to block you along the way, but no one could withstand even a casual push from you. They all fell to the ground, and you made it onto the deck without a hitch. However, the aircraft carrier's on-speed stat isn't top tier, so you need something faster. Your eyes locked directly onto a fighter jet, parked on the flight deck. Dragon Nation's latest J-40, a 6th generation hypersonic stealth fighter. You charge straight toward it. Stop. Kanmani closer and I'll fire a warning shot. The soldier chasing after you, seeing this, issued a final warning. Then, an energy deterrent struck. Bang. Bang. 2 energy rounds hit your calf with precision. The soldier who fired the intercepting shots was already prepared to rush in and subdue you. But the next second, his eyes nearly popped out of his head. Your pant leg had 2 holes torn through it, and the exposed muscle gleamed with a metallic sheen in the sunlight. Not even a white mark was left behind. How is this possible? In the moment he was stunned, more energy rounds struck your body, but they only sparked a few faint flashes. Completely useless. Steel body leave 9. Let you completely ignore attacks of this level. You just kept pushing through the fire, under the horrifying, wide-eyed stares of everyone, and reached the J-Furrow, right in front of you. You reached out, grabbed a corner of it, and with a screeching sound of tearing metal, you smoothly pried it off. You tore at it a few more times, ripping off a piece small enough to fit in your mouth, and absorbed it directly. With a feast right before you, why would you care how precious this fighter jet was? Absorb J-40 Hypersonic Stealth Fighter. Successfully obtained talent stat. Speed LV-11. Multiband Stealth Leave 10. Flight LV-10. Another long string of stats flooded into your mind. Duplicate stats began to merge with each other. Higher level ones absorbed the lower level ones. You watched as the carrier's War Beast Leave 9 merged with the fighter's War Beast Leave 7, upgrading into War Beast LV-10. Although the fighter had fewer stats, it gave you the highest level one you currently had. Speed LV-11. More importantly, it let you fly. With a thought, your feet immediately left the deck, hovering steadily in midair. With another thought, a white shockwave appeared in your spot. Everyone around felt like their vision blurred, and your figure vanished. You instantly teleported from the carrier's deck to the sea surface 1,000 meters away. The J-40's top speed is Mach 42, unmatched in the world, and you, with your extraordinary speed LV-11, are only faster and stronger than that. You slowly rose into the air, overlooking the entire carrier strike group from above, looking for the next target. That's you. The Skynet electronic reconnaissance ship. You locked onto the target. Your body dove down like a meteor. This ship is the crown jewel of Dragon Nation's intelligence station. It can scout, it can jam, and it can even forcibly interface with enemy systems, playing 3 straight hours of Boonie Bears. A terror that has made countless enemies tremble. No need to say it, absorb it. Even though you have multi-band stealth, the Skynet's phased array radar still managed to detect you. But here's the problem. A stealth fighter shows up on radar as a big bird. Your signal feedback on the radar, though, is only the size of half a soybean. Data like that is usually dismissed as a system error. While the soldiers on the ship were still trying to identify this anomalous signal, you had already landed silently on the vessel. You used your fingers to smoothly pry a fragment off the ship's hull and shoved it into your mouth. To get stronger, you have to absorb the Skynet electronic signal. Reconnaissance ship successfully obtained talent stats. Recon LV-11, full access LV-9. Aside from the duplicate stats, you gain 2 key abilities, especially Recon. You're about to use it very soon. Cold liquid drips onto your face with a steady patter. You look up, and without warning, the sky is shrouded in red clouds. Golden raindrops with a strange odor begin to fall. You wipe your face, staring at the golden liquid on your hand. The global mutation has begun. You know the world's situation has become unstable. If time weren't so tight, you'd really want to absorb the entire carrier strike group. But right now, that mutated whale is about to appear. Detection moves with your will, centered on you. An invisible detection field instantly spreads out. Visual microwaves, electromagnetic heat, everything within hundreds of miles is exposed in your perception, unable to hide. Almost the moment you find him, everyone on the sea feels it. The sea level is rising violently. A shadow so massive it inspires despair is visible beneath the surface. The whale now he should be called Zukundi. Having mutated, his size is even larger than the 150,000-ton Unity carrier. He's colossal. That dark figure is directly beneath the carrier, surging upward at top speed, ready to, like last time, deal a heavy blow to the Unity. Alarms blare across the fleet. You see the Unity making an emergency turn. Frigates launch torpedoes from the flanks, but it's useless. The deep-sea torpedoes hit that behemoth, and though golden liquid spills out, to him, those wounds are no worse than mosquito bites. Instead, they completely enrage him. Zukun churns his body underwater. With a single whip of his massive tail, a wave dozens of meters high, and a small shockwave are thrown up. The Unity, thanks to its enormous size, withstands the rocking. But the nearby 10,000-ton destroyers are flung away by the wave. By now, no one cares where you are. Inside the fleet's command center, the commander grips the table tightly, roaring out orders. All frigates, weapon systems fully online. Prepare for fire coverage. He's about to make a decisive call. A volley of hundreds of various missiles would be enough to devastate a small nation. Commander, we can't. The staff immediately stopped the messenger. The enemy is right beneath us. At such close range, hundreds of missiles detonating underwater would create shockwaves, powerful enough to capsize our entire fleet. Indeed, their weapons were all designed for super large-scale combat. Who could have imagined? The enemy would emerge right from under their feet. This mutated beast is too close, leaving everyone helpless. The commander slams his fist on the table. Frustrated, he orders the carrier's engines to full power, ready to shake him off. But before he finished speaking, the monitor lets out a cry. His speed has surged. He's charging. On the electronic screen, Zukon's ascent speed has reached a terrifying 180 kilometers per hour. The mothership can't shake him. In seconds, he'll crash into the ship's bottom. Everyone in the command center stares wide-eyed, bracing for a devastating impact. Yet the impact never comes. Zukun stops 150 meters below the ship's hull. What's going on? The commander is puzzled. Then hears the monitor screen. Commander, look. The image is switched to the main screen and quickly zoomed in. On top of that mountain-like beast, there's a human figure. He's holding him back with both arms, pushing with all his might. What? The commander rubs his eyes, unable to believe what he's seeing. That really is a person. By now, you've already transformed. Radiating silver and copper, phantom images of two steel cannons emerge behind your back. You brace yourself against Zukon's head, unleashing your full divine power. Leave 9. Standing alone against him, Shang Shung stopped him at the thatch hut on the upper estate. Zukun let out a furious roar. Teeth blue lines emerged all over his body. His power instantly surged. He slapped his massive tail underwater. His strength nearly doubled. But so what? Everyone in the command cabin gasped again, because behind you, an even more massive aircraft carrier's phantom materialized. A ghostly blue light flickered across its hull, as if a miracle had descended. Divine power plus the weight of a 150,000-ton carrier, plus nuclear propulsion. It was like forcing a cow's head down to make it drink. The carrier was driven relentlessly. It slammed hard onto Zukon's head. The impact was as dull and thunderous as a battle. A body of steel fears water. A vast expanse of seawater instantly turned golden. Zukon's forehead was damaged by the carrier's bow, his bones injured. He was covered in wounds. No one would use an aircraft carrier for close quarters ramming, but you could. And it proved that a 150,000-ton steel giant, when swung, was equally unstoppable in the most primal collision. Zukun was stunned by that hit. You seized the chance and instantly flashed to his belly. You thrust both hands upward with all your might. In a daze, on both sides of the carrier phantom behind you, enormous steel wings spread out, blotting out the sky. At the stern, two massive jet engines appeared. Super speed plus flight plus wave braking, plus the carrier's super divine power. Get up! You shouted loudly, smoothly lifting Zukon's mountain-like body. You burst through the water and soared into the sky. Commander, what am I seeing? The Unity is flying. Oh my god. Every soldier on every warship witnessed a scene they would never forget. An aircraft carrier, carrying a giant sea monster even bigger than itself, shot straight up to an altitude of 10,000 meters. After a long moment, the frigate's commander glanced down at the radar and said, Tiana, that's not our Unity. Our ship is still safely on the sea. The radar clearly shows two enormous unknown entities in the air, and one of them is pushing the other even higher. 1 kilometer, 3 kilometers, at 10,000 meters, the awakened Zukun struggled wildly, but away from the sea. His power greatly diminished. He simply couldn't break free. The tension in the fleet command cabin reached its peak. Commander, give the order. This is a perfect opportunity to strike. A staff officer shouted excitedly. No. Another immediately countered. That person helping us is still beneath the monster, but we can't be sure he's on our side. Enough. The fleet commander waved a hand and said decisively, our dragon nation never attacks its own comrades. All weapons, stand by. Be ready to provide support at any time. Understood. Understood. By now, you had lifted Zukon to nearly 20,000 meters in the sky. Even with divine power level 9, your arms were starting to ache slightly. Hey, take this, Earth's top move. The phantom engine behind you spewed brilliant blue particle trails. Super speed level 11 activated. You used all your strength to hurl Sukun's massive body in a smooth parabolic arc, fiercely toward the distant horizon. There you go. Instantly approaching several times the speed of sound, Sukun's enormous form turned into a meteor, carving an astonishing trajectory across the sky, flying over 130 kilometers away. Nearly 100 seconds later, the impact force of falling from 20,000 meters was no less than a small meteorite strike. The immense kinetic energy caused Sukun's back, the moment it hit the sea surface, to dissolve into a pool of energy residue. On the surface of the sea, it smashed out a terrifying sound wave, tens of thousands of meters in diameter. Holy crap! That Sukun of yours got knocked around like a skipping stone, smashing down, bouncing up, then smashing down again, bouncing back up. It skipped a full 100 kilometers. Its body was battered and broken, collapsing heavily to the ground. What are you waiting for? Your face suddenly appeared on every single screen in the ship's command rooms. Your voice carried a hint of anger, directly cutting off everyone's train of thought. We're already at a safe distance. Why aren't you attacking it right now? The command room fell into dead silence. The full access you absorbed from the Skynet electronic reconnaissance ship, connecting to Leave 9, wasn't for nothing. It smoothly penetrated all defenses. Launch the attack. What are you thinking? You reminded them again. Your tone was direct, but no one dared to talk back. The commander on the flagship Unity tapped a table, scanning the silent crowd with his gaze. He quickly gave the order to seize the opportunity. All missiles ready to launch. 3 volleys fired the attack. Almost at the same time, your face vanished from the screens. You were already standing on the nearest Lingfeng Class 55 frigate. Without hesitation, you tore off a piece of steel and absorbed it directly. In an instant, power surged within you. You acquired bodyguard LV9, ship-to-ship cannon LV8, single-handed mission Leave 8, and several other offensive traits. Xuanji, the carrier phantom behind you, underwent another astonishing transformation. A large number of missiles launched from both sides of the deck appeared out of thin air, one by one. Illusory hypersonic missiles became solid. Following the carrier fleet's missiles, they streaked toward the distance. Sukun still struggling and bouncing at incredible speed. You know that an aircraft carrier's individual attack power isn't the strongest. Its core strength lies in its carrier-based aircraft groups. However, after absorbing that Lingfeng 55, the strongest frigate of the Dragon Kingdom, which once went on a single-handed mission right under the British nose, the carrier phantom behind you was no longer a simple carrier. Linfeng Wuwei had 16 missile launch units and hundreds of launch silos, capable of simultaneously launching nearly 200 various missiles, including high-energy weapons. It was called a mobile missile launch base, and now, all of that has become a manifestation of your power. Have you ever heard of a 150,000-ton frigate? It's right behind you now, the carrier phantom. Now, thousands of missile pits are neatly arranged in dense rows. Your firepower alone matches that of an entire fleet. Although this semi-solid phantom requires you to supply energy, the nuclear-powered MV8 provides you with an endless stream of energy. Boom. You and the carrier phantom were instantly shrouded in a massive cloud of dust and smoke. Just one volley, over 100 hypersonic missiles launched from the ground, performing several neat formation changes in the air. Stronger than the missiles launched by the Unity carrier fleet, they shot out at even faster speeds. Terminal velocity surged to nearly Mach 40, 10,000 meters per second. In less than 20 seconds, your derived hypersonic missiles caught up with the Sukun that had bounced over 200 kilometers away. Each missile's impact point error was no more than 10 centimeters. Energy impacts on the sea surface, shockwave after shockwave, one after another, sweeping across the sea area. Hypersonic missiles detonated dozens of meters underwater, forming a water wall to 3,000 meters high and a kilometer wide. Then the towering water wall crashed down. That was the real shockwave. Its power was completely on par with a high-energy weapon. And then, the belated missiles from the Unity carrier fleet could only break apart the remaining tough skeleton of Sukun. Sukun had long been completely disintegrated, but you still flew at top speed in that direction because you knew Defeating a mutant of this level would surely yield loot. After flying for about a minute, you arrive at the sea surface where the void cone must shatter. As you scan and sense, a massive, faint blue energy source is clearly visible. You use the wave-splitting talent to cleave the sea surface, and from within that mass, a huge energy crystal, about the size of a millstone, rises up. Like a small millstone, the energy core. In the future, this thing is a top-tier supplement for boosting supernatural power levels, the hardest of hard currency, although the void cone was expelled as soon as it appeared. This energy core is only tier 3 in quality, but its sheer size is unmatched. The total energy it contains rivals that of a sovereign. For this energy core, you have only one word: absorb. You hug the millstone-sized energy core and directly choose the most explosive method of refinement, absorbing. You successfully tear off a piece the size of a morning sun and absorb it directly. Steel body leaf 9 makes you not worrying about being burst open. Refining it slowly and steadily would be way too slow. In an instant, your aura rapidly grows stronger. Super, natural, early first tier, mid-tier, late tier, peak, second tier of supernatural. Within just a few seconds, you break through from first tier to second tier, becoming an elite level supernatural warrior. But the void cone's energy core is just too massive. You only absorbed a small mouthful, which is equivalent to absorbing the energy core of a same tier, third tier mutant beast. Even if you waste 90%, it's enough to push you to second tier. At the same time, your ultimate absorption talent is also activating. You absorb the third tier, same level mutant beast, the void cone, gaining infinite growth LV8, life LV5, absorption leave 6, super regeneration LV7, ocean power LV7, divine strength LV7, a dense list of 10 to 20 new talent traits. You glance over them and marvel that the void cone's talents are uniquely blessed. Infinite growth, even without breaking through realms, allows unlimited growth in body size, boosting combat power. This was once the void cone's core ability, paired with its absorption talent. It made it, in the past life, a behemoth of the ocean. You activate the absorption talent. A massive black vortex appears before you, whipping up hurricane force winds. A huge amount of seawater pours in. This is the true meaning of an absorption skill. You directly toss the millstone-sized void cone energy core into the absorption vortex. This makes absorption more convenient, and also more efficient and effective. In an instant, your supernatural realm starts skyrocketing again. Then you can't help but let out a burp. A stream of blue haze bursts from your mouth, shooting out dozens of meters in one go. You quickly shut your mouth. Just that one burst of expelled supernatural energy would be enough for an average first tier supernatural to advance a minor realm. The void cone's energy core is too big. You've eaten a bit too much, but that's okay. You have your own ways. The energy you can't digest is all transferred to the aircraft carrier phantom behind you. This phantom is also a manifestation of your ability. The infinite growth talent starts to activate behind you. The carrier, originally fixed at a displacement of 150,000 tons, suddenly begins to expand. 150,000 tons, 200,000, 250,000 tons, 500,000 tons, as a massive amount of the energy core is absorbed. The aircraft carrier behind you is now more than 3 times larger than before. Not only that, this ever-changing carrier shows new differences. It retains all its original features, but now a new layer of biological film appears. The hull's exterior also takes on a more teardrop-like, streamlined shape, tending more toward a secondary form. The hull, originally red with white and gray, it had turned into a blue and black paint scheme, etched with mysterious patterns, resembling the innate transcendent markings on Sukun's body. He now looked more like a futuristic biowarship from a movie. Your transcendent power also surged higher and higher. Although the infinite growth consumed a massive amount of energy, Sukun's energy core was simply too large. Even the small portion you could digest on your own allowed you to break through again with ease. Breaking through barrier after barrier, you smoothly reached the third-tier Lord level of transcendence, and kept going until you hit the peak of the Lord level before stopping. Ah, that feels good. You couldn't help but let out a low roar. The Lord level was enough to make you the city lord of a medium-sized shelter. Nearly hundreds of thousands of people. You waved your hand forward. The phantom of a 500,000-ton aircraft carrier shot straight ahead. slamming heavily onto the sea surface, instantly unleashing an even larger shockwave. 100-meter-tall water walls rose up. With just a single wave of your hand, the attack power generated was no less than before. The activation of hundreds of hypersonic missiles and energy impact. Your power had undergone earth-shattering transformation. If you encountered another third-tier Sukkun like that, you would only need to control the aircraft carrier Phantom behind you and give it a light smash to easily crush him. This infinite growth, though it consumed resources like a bottomless pit, this kind of limitless increase was just too uniquely talented. You were very satisfied with this trait, and with the aircraft carrier Phantom replacing your own physical growth, you didn't have to turn into a mountain of flesh, eliminating your only worry. My current power is simply not something the third-tier alert level can withstand. A light flickered in your eyes. Even in your past life, you never had the chance to come into contact with a ruler-level transcendent life form, but your innate life instinct told you that even the ruler level was nothing more than that. You withdrew the aircraft carrier Phantom and descended. With one hand, you scooped up from the seawater the massive white bones bobbing up and down. These were Sukkun's bones. Some parts had been shattered, but most remained intact. Bones at the Lord level were absolutely the highest quality transcendent materials, worth a fortune in the future. You dragged this bone, weighing a full 20 to 30,000 tons, out of the seawater. Glancing at the sky, where the rain was falling harder and harder, the downpour continued unabated. Probably more than half of the world's population, and all plants and animals had already mutated. You pulled Sukkun's corpse and flew toward the Unity aircraft carrier battle group. You knew that in this world, there weren't many places that could remain completely unaffected by the rain. The Dragon Kingdom's aircraft carrier battle group was one of them, because in this global mutation disaster, concepts from novels and movies, like National Destiny, had become manifest. The Unity aircraft carrier clearly carried a large portion of the Dragon Kingdom's national destiny, possessing the LV-10 national heavy weapon trait. From the red clouds and the rain until now, not a single soldier on the carrier battle group had mutated, precisely because of the protection of this guardian power. You knew very well, the Unity was originally supposed to be heavily damaged by Sukkun. Its guardian power would leak out, and it would end up as just a weapon of war. Now you had driven back Sukkun and preserved it. The carrier battle group had the power to destroy any commander-level mutant and to harm ruler-level mutants, but the soldiers piloting them were still too fragile. So you decided to help these soldiers get a good power-up, to help them awaken true transcendent power, because inside the spine, there was still something called soft goldfish marrow. This was the only special resource in Sukkun's body, gentle enough for even ordinary people to directly absorb. You would use it to help the soldiers in the carrier battle group purify their bodies, stimulating extraordinary power. Most can unlock their talents, becoming true super warriors. Even if they can't, it still greatly strengthens the body, making them quasi-super soldiers. You are ready to give your dragon country warriors such a generous gift. Meanwhile, inside the command cabin of the unified aircraft carrier, personnel at all levels are busy at work. The chief of staff asked the officer reporting to him, "How is it? Have you found the vulnerabilities in our electronic information network?" "Not yet, sir. The report isn't ready." The soldier in charge had sweat on his brow, looking troubled. "Chief of staff, our electronic defense system shows no damage whatsoever." The other side, "It's more like they took our keys and opened our door directly. They bypassed our defenses and just walked right in." "How is that possible?" The chief of staff was once an expert in electronic information technology. He knew well how powerful the technical capability and hardware support needed to be. This kind of bypass is more terrifying than forcefully breaking through defenses. At that moment, the soldier monitoring the radar array shouted, "Sir, that person is approaching us at high speed." Flight speed is about Mach 12. Estimated arrival in about 58 seconds, Mach 12. The chief of staff was shocked. How is it Mach 12? Previously, his flight speed was only around Mach 4. How did it suddenly triple? This change in data made all the countermeasures previously planned against you completely useless. They've lost almost any means of counterattack, because not only are you incredibly fast, You also possess stealth capabilities and permission override abilities. How did he do it? They were utterly baffled. This was beyond their understanding. Should we intercept him? He's about to breach our safe distance again. A staff officer pointed at the radar target representing you on the screen, the marked target, and asked. Every second left them with 4 kilometers less of reaction space. Among the 7 or 8 staff officers, some wanted to attack, some thought they should try friendly communication. It was split half and half, but most felt they needed to keep a safe distance from you, not letting you get within 100 kilometers. All the staff officers looked at the fleet commander who had remained silent. The hawkish staff officers watched eagerly, expecting orders from this famously hardline commander, waiting for him to give the command. But the commander didn't rush to respond. He held the electronic screen and played the footage the fleet had captured of your fight with Sukon over and over. After watching the video, he rewound it, zoomed in, and expanded it, projecting it onto the screen. Look, he's wearing our military boots, and his belt is from our Navy too. The commander zoomed in on your figure, specifically enlarging your boots for everyone to see. Your clothes were torn apart by the energy, and you had already taken them off. Your pants were also ripped down to just half. Only the boots and belt remained in the most intact condition. They had the Dragon Country Navy insignia. So he's one of us. He's our soldier. Someone's eyes went wide, staring at you with burning intensity. Instantly, no one mentioned attacking you or keeping you 100 kilometers away. If you were a Dragon Country soldier, then they had countless bold ideas. Send someone to check which squad has a missing member and verify his identity with those on duty. The commander spoke, giving orders. At the same time, he raised another question. A human possessing such immense power and something comparable to a mothership has also appeared in the deep sea. And this layer of red clouds covering the sky, and the rain that keeps falling without stopping, have already stained the shallow sea surface into golden whales. This is definitely not a normal phenomenon. This sea area, or perhaps